The WHO warns that the spread of COVID-19 is still accelerating. It says the worst is still to come.
The hard reality is this is not even close to being over.
Pro-choice campaigners celebrate as the US Supreme Court rules against abortions being made harder to get in Louisiana. Lawmakers from around the world call for an investigation into reports that China is sterilizing Muslim Uyghur women in detention camps. And Black Lives Matter in Asia as well, how the movement is making itself felt in East Asia. The latest coronavirus figures make chilling reading, and before they improve, they are predicted to get much worse. There have now been more than 10 million reported cases of the virus worldwide, and more than 500,000 deaths have been attributed to COVID-19. June saw a global average of more than 4,700 people die from a coronavirus-linked illness every 24 hours. And the World Health Organization says the pandemic is speeding up. The worst is yet to come.
Most people remain susceptible. The virus still has a lot of room to move. We all want this to be over. We all want to get on with our lives. But the hard reality is this is not even close to being over. Although many countries have made some progress globally, the pandemic is actually speeding up.
A notorious mass murderer known as the Golden State Killer has been sentenced to life in prison after pleading guilty to 13 killings. Joseph D'Angelo, who's 74, was a serving police officer in California when he committed his crimes in the 1970s and 80s. He was only caught after his DNA was traced via a genealogy website. 4 sacked American police officers who were accused last month of killing an African-American man, George Floyd, have made their second court appearance. Derek Chauvin, who faces second-degree murder, among other charges, made his appearance remotely from prison. The other 3 former officers appeared in person. They entered no plea. The hearing dealt with how the trial would proceed. The US Supreme Court says it will not hear a challenge brought by 4 environmental groups against President Trump's plans to build a wall along America's border with Mexico. The groups had argued the construction would be harmful to plant and animal life. 32 people have died, many more are missing after a ferry capsized in Bangladesh. Officials say the ship overturned after colliding with another vessel in Sadagat, one of the main river ports connecting to the capital Dhaka. A warning some people may find images in Rajid Ahmed's report distressing.
This is the Buruganga River in Bangladesh, home to one of the largest river ports in the country near the capital Dhaka. The ferry was reportedly about to moor on the crowded waterway when it hit another boat, capsized and then sank.
A ferry capsizes in Bangladesh, killing 32 people following a collision at a river port in Dhaka. And there's a new push to allow athletes to protest at the Olympics. The gold medalist involved in the most famous Olympic protests of all gives his view.
So the other younger athletes can move forward, won't be afraid to talk, won't be afraid to take a stand, won't be afraid to move forward.
The company behind the acrobatic circus troupe, Cirque du Soleil, has filed for bankruptcy protection because of the pandemic. Dozens of shows in the US, Europe and Australia were cancelled overnight. Most of its 4,000 performers and technicians are expected to lose their jobs. Founded in 1984, the Canadian circus has performed in more than 300 cities around the world. America's aviation regulator has started a series of test flights to assess whether the Boeing 737 MAX is safe to fly again. The aircraft were grounded over a year ago following 2 crashes in which nearly 350 people were killed. The tests, taking place near the Boeing headquarters in Seattle, will evaluate new flight control software. The original version is thought to have led to the crashes by forcing the planes into catastrophic nosedives. Even if the updated planes pass the tests, it could still be months before they're allowed to resume carrying passengers.
Now, a new strain of flu that has potential to become a pandemic has been identified in China by scientists. It emerged recently and is carried by pigs, but can infect humans. That's the claim. The researchers are concerned that it could mutate further so that it can spread easily from person to person. While it is not an immediate problem, those researchers say it has the hallmarks of being highly adapted to infect humans and needs close monitoring.